Bright suns and happy new year. Welcome back to a new episode of Let's Talk About Star Wars with Maggie Lovett. Today we're going to do something a little bit different and hopefully keep this to a slightly shorter episode. But today I wanted to talk about Star Wars resolutions. Now, back in 2017, after Rogue One entered into my life, I adopted the phrase that we don't need New Year's resolutions, we need New Year's revolutions. Just as like a ridiculous thing that has stuck with me every year since. I'm not really a big fan of resolutions. I mean, we almost always break them within like 3 days of the new year. But I did make one resolution last year and I actually stuck to it. And I definitely think it is going to be a resolution that I duplicate this year because I think it worked for me. Last year, after the Rise of Skywalker, I was not in a very good place. And so I made a resolution to focus on being more positive. And I really stuck to that last year, even when the going got tough and, things made me want to be really negative. I tried to focus on the things that I love. So I am planning on doing that again this year. And I think with the Star Wars fandom and with any fandom, people tend to hear this focus towards the positive and instantly think of it as toxic positivity. I don't fault anyone for thinking that way. I definitely think that there are a lot of big name fans in any fandom, but in particular, the Star Wars fandom that really, they use positivity as a shield for bad behavior. And that's not something that I am interested in at all. I am a huge proponent of being critical with your engagement to media and finding that balance for being positive about the things you love, but still constructively critical about the things that you might not love. And so I'm really hoping that, I stick to that kind of mantra this year. And I would encourage all of you to try to do the same thing. It's easy, especially in these like huge periods of time where we aren't getting a lot of Star Wars content. Like it's going to be a while before we see Din and Grogu again, which has definitely been like a highlight for a lot of people in the Star Wars fandom. So it'll be easy to kind of fall prey to this very negative, very toxic kind of behavior. So it's really important to just think about what you love. If you love Star Wars books, you're in luck because there are so many Star Wars books coming out this year. If you love comics, well, there's some new High Republic comics, and we also have Dr. Aphra. So there's a way to like pick and choose which things you love, and I think that Star Wars kind of lends itself towards being one of those fandoms where it's all or nothing, and it doesn't have to be that way. You can choose which aspects of Star Wars and the fandom that you engage with. And sometimes that means kind of pulling away from people that you consider friends that might be very negative and finding a way to kind of keep that boundary up between them and not letting their own experiences tarnish your experiences. And I'm very, very big on that. And so I think it's really important to just kind of protect your own energy and protect what you love. If you love the prequels, binge them this year, watch them every month until something new comes out that, piques your interest again. I know for me, I was like super not into the Bad Batch. I mean, I've talked about it on here before. I was like my least favorite episodes in the last season of the Clone Wars was just like, oh God, another like, oh, it's the clones. But then they showed us that Fennec is going to be in it and Ming-Na is doing the voice for Fennec. And so I was like, okay, you have my interest. Even if she's not like a main character, we're still going to learn more about this character that I like. So I'll watch it. I'll probably end up enjoying it. I know I'm going to be talking about it on here and on other podcasts. Same thing with like Boba Fett. I very historically known for not liking Boba Fett, and yet, they gave his character like this really fantastic storyline, and there's like so much potential there that it got me interested in the character and what this character could, really open doors with. And then of course, Fennec Shand, I'm very excited about more badass female characters. And so I was like, okay, I'm counting down the days until the Boba Fett show. So, you can you choose what makes you excited and just kind of try to tune out the things that, weigh down your enjoyment. Take a break. If Star Wars is not making you happy, make a resolution to give it a break, find something that does make you happy, and then you're probably going to come back and be just as excited about Star Wars as you used to be. The Star Wars fandom just has a way of letting the loudest and angriest voices kind of dominate the airspace. I mean, you can see it on YouTube, you see it on Twitter. There's a lot of negative opinions that are cloaked in this kind of like positive, too good to be true kind of persona. And it's just really important to try to make fandom an experience for your personal interests and not listen too much about other people's opinions on things. And we have so much good Star Wars coming out this year, and I'm so excited about that. I mentioned last episode that I have the High Republic to read, and I binged all of them this week, and you can see my reviews down in the description of this video. I've already reviewed all of them. Everybody who has pre-ordered the books will be getting Light of the Jedi and The Test of Courage this week as it unveils, and I'm really excited for everyone to get to experience the High Republic, because this era just has so much potential for new storytelling. And we know that Leslie Headland's TV series The Acolyte is going to be connected to the end of the High Republic era, and it's just really exciting time to be part of the Star Wars fandom. And I'm really excited about the Nile in the High Republic books. I kind of assumed that I'd be excited about that because you give me a bad character or bad characters, and I'm going to be very interested in them. So I'm really excited to see what more people think about them, and as we actually start to be able to talk about it amongst ourselves on Twitter. So I'm very excited about that. Of course, I don't want to talk too much on here and spoil anything for anybody. So trust in like a month or two, once people have had a chance to read the books for themselves or listen to the audiobooks, I do want to revisit them and talk a little bit more about them, because I am very, very intrigued by the Nile. I'm very intrigued by any time a certain aspect of colonization is brought up, and I'm curious to see how far they go with that, because it is something that's very interesting and is something that hasn't exactly been handled super well in the past, and so I'm curious and very keen to see what happens with that. And then, we have Amy Rashal's book coming out very soon, the I Love You, I Know book, about friendship and love. Like I mentioned, we have new Dr. Aphra comics coming out, and I think there's more Vader comics. I'm a little behind on my comic reading. And then we also have Adam Christopher's Mandalorian book to look forward to. And I know I'm forgetting somebody else's book. Oh my God, how could I forget? We have Alphabet Squadron. The last in the trilogy is coming out. We also have the second Thrawn Ascendancy book coming out. So there's just so much quality content that is coming out this year that we can pick and choose from and decide which things like really catch our interests. I just think it's really important to create your own community in Star Wars, and always be vigilant. Because I think that, with some of the stuff that happened this week, I think that some people were blindsided by some behavior in some fans in the Star Wars fandom. Others, like myself, were not exactly surprised. But I just think it's really important to focus on what people are presenting and who they associate with. My mother has always taught me a very specific phrase, that birds of a feather flock together. So I just think it's really important to focus on cultivating an experience that reflects who you are. And so that's something that I would like to impress upon all of you, to really focus on this year. And I think that the Star Wars fandom has the potential to be such a welcoming and wonderful fandom, but we do need to always work on cultivating that experience. And with so much stuff this year, especially with the High Republic, which has been designed as a gateway of sorts for new Star Wars fans to come into the fandom, we should be welcoming and we should be excited to share our love with them and kind of bring them into the fold, so to speak. So that is my soapbox for today. As always, there is so much to be thankful for. Last year was such an interesting year for so many of us, and I'm sure 2021 is going to have a lot of those same challenges. And so with so much trouble happening in real life, I think it's really important for us to focus on positive things and fandom and focus on the things that we love and that we love to share, and try not to let the constant stream of negativity affect us, because I've been down that route before. I've been in fandoms for a very long time, longer than perhaps I should have been. My very first fandom was Lord of the Rings when I was 6 years old, and I should not have been on AOL chat boards at 6, but I was very interested. And I can see how fandoms work, and I think that fandoms are great, and the networks they create are incredible and invaluable. But you do just really need to be careful not to kind of just continue to follow with the herd. It's very easy to feel pressured not to express yourself when everyone around you feels like the opposite of how you feel. And I think it's really important that, as long as your opinion is not hurting anybody or inherently sexist or racist or homophobic, that you should focus on how you can make that work and how you can have constructive conversations, because there's people who hate the Rise of Skywalker and there's people who love the Rise of Skywalker, and I hate the Rise of Skywalker, but I don't think anybody who likes it is less than me because they love it. And I see that a lot. I see people who say that if you liked the Mandalorian season finale, that you're not actually engaging with things constructively, and you're not as smart as other people who didn't like it. Don't do that. Just try to be more mindful of others and how people feel and how people react. And we're all coming at things from our own very specific points of view. And so from a certain point of view, everybody's right in their own opinions. And so that's just kind of something that I've been thinking about this week. There are obviously people who have extremely toxic, extremely dangerous opinions in this fandom, and those people should be reckoned with. But if you're just not jiving with how things are going, and if you're not a big fan of The Mandalorian, but everyone in your friend group, loves it, don't bring it down for them. There's just a way that we should all be able to be okay, you didn't like that, it's fine. I know that after The Rise of Skywalker, I was really angry, and I was irrationally angry. Not good. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good about feeling negative towards friends of mine who were enjoying it. And it's just take a step back, go, okay, that's not something I like. I recognize other people like it. I can move on. And that's something I hope that we all work towards this year, because fandom should be fun. And if it's not, take a breather, come back, and you're probably going to have a good time. So with that, I bid you all a happy new year. I hope that you kind of understand what I was getting at. I feel like I kind of rambled, but it is something that I feel very strongly about, that if you're not enjoying fandom, if you're not enjoying Star Wars, just take a breather. It's okay. Nobody is going to blame you for taking a step back and obsessing about The Witcher or revisiting Game of Thrones. Again, another one of those things you'd be really angry about, but still be oh, I really like that character. And it's okay. It's okay to like things for specific reasons. It's okay to dislike things for specific reasons, and nobody is wrong in any of those opinions. So just focus on your own energy and who is in your circle, and try to cultivate an experience that brings you joy this year. Last year was so hard for so many of us. Let's try to make 2021 a more positive experience, even if it's just online. So with that, I would like to say, may the force be with you.